Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to English class. How are you? You are well? Of course. I am also well. What did we discuss in the previous class? Can you remember? Yes. That was subject verb agreement. At first we will discuss about some exercises of subject verb agreement. Now look at the blackboard. Number A, either Rubel or his brothers was or were guilty. Which will be correct answer? Was or were? I guess you can do the correct answer. The correct answer will be were, because the subject is compound subject and it is made of double conjunction, either or, neither nor, not only but also. And such kind of, in the case of such kind of subjects, the head words will be the word which sits or take place after the second conjunction. Here the head word is his brothers, as his brothers are plural, so we will take the plural verb and this is were. Now look at the second one. The attendance of the students is or are important. Can you solve this portion or solve the answer? Which will be the correct answer? Guess, think yourself, which one? Now look at the answer. The correct answer is, because here the head word is attendance. It is uncountable noun. As the head word is uncountable noun, it is singular, and that's why your verb is here is. Now look at the third one. The third one, Habib as well as Hasib is or are guilty. Which one will be your answer? Is or are? Can you think? Of course, your answer will be is, as your subject is made of with the help of as well as. If your subject is made of with as well as, with, together with, along with, the head word will be the word which sits before as well as, together with, or along with. As Habib is singular, so your verb will be singular, and that is. The next one, look at the next one. Swimming in the river is or are very tough. Which one will be your answer? Is or are? I think your answer will be is, because as your head word is present participle. Here the head word is present participle. If your head word is present participle, your subject will be singular. Then the fourth one, to read loudly means to memorize. Here the head word or your subject is read. As your subject is infinitive, it will be singular. Now, can you guess your answer? Mean or means? As your subject is infinitive and it is singular, your verb will be singular, and this is means. Next, and we see another one. Creativity. Creativity helps one to go ahead. Which will be your answer? Helps or helps? Can you guess? Of course, your answer will be helps, as your subject is creativity and it is uncountable. As it is uncountable, your subject is singular, so the verb will be singular, and that is helps. Next, poultry. Give us meat and eggs. Which will be your answer? Give or gives? Can you guess? Poultry, noun, and this is plural noun. Poultry, cattle, public, peasantry, clergy, those verbs, those nouns, though look like singular, actually they are always plural. So we have to use plural verb, and here the plural verb is give. Next one, the plane moving in the sky fly or flies under cloud. Which will be your answer? Here are two verbs, fly and flies, plural, singular. Which verb will take? Singular verb or plural verb? We have to look at the subject, the plane moving in the sky. Here the head word is plane. As it is singular, our verb will be singular, and here the singular verb is flies. So we have to use flies. We understand that we can know or learn the subject verb agreement, and this subject verb agreement will help us in tenses. When we will go to tense, identify the tense, we will be able to use verb according to subject. Now, after subject verb agreement, we will learn about tense. What is tense. I know you have already learned about tense. What do you know about tense? Tense means time of action, and in Bangla it is usually said that কাল ক্রিয়ার সম্পন্ন হওয়ার সময়কেই আমরা কি বলি টেন্স বলি and in English it is said that time of action and every action takes place according to tense. So if you don't have enough knowledge about tense, you will not be able to produce correct sentence. So we have to know about tense. The tense is divided into three. Number 1, present. 2, past. Number 3, future. What do you know about present tense? Action which usually happens or takes place universally at present, already finished. Such kind of actions are called present tense. An action which took place previously, that will be in past tense, and the action which will happen in future, that will be future tense. Now every tense, that means present, past and future, every tense also divided into 4. Now we will see the classification of present tense. Number 1, present indefinite. 2, present continuous. 3, present perfect. 4, present perfect continuous. Those are the present tense, the classification of present tense. After present tense, we will discuss see the classification of past tense. Past indefinite, past continuous, past perfect continuous. Next we will see the future tense. Future indefinite, future continuous, future perfect continuous. Those are the classification of tense. Every action will take the help of those 12, any of the 12 tenses. Every action, when we think something, we have to express our thoughts, emotion by a tense. Without the help of tense, we can't express our thinking, our ideas, our thoughts. We have to follow the tenses. So we have to have enough knowledge about tense. Today we will discuss about the 3 tenses, that are present indefinite, past indefinite and future indefinite. I think you know about these tenses, but now we are trying to make you understand or make you remember your past or revise your tenses. Now we will see the present tense, present indefinite. Present indefinite. Every tense is identified by two ways according to the adverbs used in the tenses and the meaning of the sentence. Two ways tense can be identified. So, if the meaning is universal truth or present habit, your sentence will be in present indefinite. What did I say? If your thinking or if the incident is universally truth, such as the earth moves round the sun, the earth moves round the sun. Here the meaning of the sentence is universally truth. This is why this sentence is present indefinite. And also I said, if your meaning of if you want to say about your present habit, suppose I get up from bed at 6 a.m. every day. Here this sentence indicates your present habit. Such kind of sentence will be in present indefinite tense. Here the structure will be subject plus V1 plus object. If your meaning indicates universal truth or present habit, you will use this structure: subject, verb present form, object, and in the bracket we also mention s, yes, is. If your subject is third person singular, such as he, she, it, Rohim, boy, in that case you will use s, yes, is after the verb. If your subject is first person, I, we, you, they, boys, that means plural verb, we will not use s, yes or is. We will only use the present form of verb, such as we eat rice, and here Rohim eats rice. In this sentence we use s after the verb because the subject is third person singular, and in the sentence we eat rice we don't use s, yes or is because our subject is plural. Is it clear? And we also said we can use after the subject third person singular we can use s, yes, is. When we will use s after the subject, if your subject is third person singular and your verb ends with consonant word such as T, consonant word. In that case, we will use only S. And if your verb ends with double S, X, CH, O, in that case we will use yes after your verb. But remember, your subject must be singular. Otherwise, we will not think about S, yes or IES. And if your subject ends with consonant plus Y, in that case we shall use IES. Suppose baby cries. See, why have we used IES? Here the head word is, actual word is cry, and after this cry we use Y has become vanished, and in alternative of Y we here have used IES. So I think now it is clear when we will use S, yes or IES, and when we will not use S, yes or IES. And if the action took place that have been said, action takes place habitually, or your action is universal true, you will use the structure of subject, verb and object. Then we will see past indefinite. If your action is universally true, such as Bangladesh became independent then in 1971. If your action is universally true or past habit, I played with my boyfriends. It is usually in the childhood or boyhood, the boys are habituated to play, to gossip, to swim with their friends in a group, and that habit will be expressed in past indefinite tense. From these two we can get a structure. The structure will be subject, verb to object. That means the past form of verb. If your action is inverse historically true or past incident, you will use this structure: subject, past form of verb, object. Now, if your action is going to be held, if your action will happen, or if your action will take place in future, in that case we use future indefinite tense. Suppose we shall make progress. Progress in next few years. Here your action will take place in future. If your action takes place in future, we will use future indefinite tense, and your structure will be subject, shall or will plus verb present form plus object. Now here is you may face confusion. When will you use shall? When will you use will? If your subject is first person, that is I or we. After I or we can use shall, and after another subjects, rest of the subjects, we will use will. Is it clear? Such as we shall sing together tomorrow. Hasib will help his friends. As subject is first person, we use shall, and as subject is third person, we use will. So we can say that, but will can be used after every subject. If you use we will sing, your answer will not be incorrect, your answer will be correct. So will can be used after every subject. So from this discussion we have seen the action, present action, past action and future action. If your action is universally true or presently habitual, your action will be in present indefinite tense. If your action is historically true or past incident, you will express your thoughts in past indefinite tense. And if your action takes place in future, in the coming days, you will follow the future indefinite tense. So those are the structures of present indefinite, past indefinite and future indefinite tense. Beside these three structures, in the indefinite tenses such as present indefinite, past indefinite and future indefinite, we have also another 6 more structure, and those structure and rest of the tenses we will discuss in the next class. And after that we will be able to use correct tense. Now I will ask you to revise or to go through the tenses: present indefinite, past indefinite and future indefinite. If you read or go with me, you will be able to understand tenses well. So I ask you to read yourself at home, and whenever you get time, you will come to our online classes and we will solve your problems. So hoping your best. Today I want to say you goodbye. See you again. Thank you.